So if you don't pick the questions, we do it for you anyway, and we have 3 questions we ask you every day that you reply by text. What's really great, give yourselves a hand. Those of you that are in this, it's improving actually over time, shockingly. That actually shocks me. We got more and more people that are really engaging daily in the texting. You text back, it's daily accountability. You got to know what you want is the first pillar of success in business. The second pillar of success is accountability. Accountability is nothing more than a dialogue. Coaching is conversation. If you text with somebody your numbers every day and we reply back to your replies, so you know I'm watching. And the point of that is basically so that you have somebody to walk the journey with. This stuff works. Next one. We do every other week now, we're broadcasting a live event from a Keller Williams office up in College Park, Upland. And it's every other week, and you get the text link to that so you can watch a coaching session live that I'm doing every other week, okay? There's also bi-weekly conference calls. We got the next one coming up next week with content. You get 3 free tickets to all of these events, so we're doing 6 of these this year. This is the first of 6. All different content. Next one's advanced business skills, intermediate and advanced, right? You get a copy of our book. We'll get to CRM training sessions, access to all our coaching templates, all this stuff. $29, okay, you ready? We were talking about, we hate salesy stuff and saying you got to do stuff, but I don't know what got into us yesterday. We're like, yeah, let's do dumb stuff today. So here's what we're doing. Okay, if any of you wants to join this program, what time is it now? 10:25, perfect. Roz said 11 a.m. If anyone wants to join this program and see it, Roz, raise your hand. Amani, raise your hand. They're both working with me. If you go see one of them to join this program, by 11 this morning only, it's $20. However, whoever's in this program right now, raise your hand real quick. If you're going to join this program in the next 40 minutes, find a friend who raised their hand and their price will go down to $20. Good enough? They're your sponsor. Got it? Okay, you got till 11 o'clock to do that. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to go into better topics. By the way, one thing real quick. You know what I like to do in the first break? Exchange 10 business cards with people in the room during the break. We will see you all in about 10 minutes-ish, okay? Run your business like a business. Written in the passenger seat of a car. Literally, with the help of people from Mark Shaw's favorite outsourcing website on earth, Upwork.com, right? Oh, by the way, the book was written for a total of $70 because I used outsourcing help. The outsourcing help I found on a worldwide website, you all better write down if you're taking notes. And if you're not taking notes, you all better write it down. It's Upwork, UPWORK.com. It's the place where what I'm about to say is going to come out all wrong, so I apologize in advance. You can delegate any project for significantly less than minimum wage and have it done for you. The problem is, unfortunately, there are people around the world that are desperate to do anything for whatever you're going to offer them for the opportunity to build a relationship with you and continue to get projects from you, right? So, in any event, this book was written, I'm in the passenger seat of a car, taking photos of Scribble Scratch, texting it to somebody from Upwork.com who happened to live in Virginia Beach, Virginia, named Alice Park, right? Texting her all this stuff, and she types it into the publishing template. I liked it so much, I gave her a bonus of $70, and she was thrilled. Alice, since then, has done everything from PowerPoints for me to projects for people I know. Interesting? Alice is amazing. Minu Karthikeya, I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. 5 years ago, I asked her for help on the Google spreadsheets I'm about to show you if we can get this thing up and running in 5 minutes here. I'll probably need some technical help. I don't know if Charlie's going to be around for this one because we need spreadsheets here. Somebody find Charlie for his help in a few minutes. But in order to do that, I wanted somebody to do it for me. I offered somebody $40 on Upwork.com to help me out with the spreadsheets, to extend it, add columns, do the formulas. And the next day, I texted her, did you get the information? And she said, yeah, it's done. Didn't you see my email? I said, what do you mean it's done? It's the kind of stuff that was taking me hours and hours, right? And she said, I did it last night. How'd you do it so fast? Oh, I'm a software developer by trade. You're a software developer doing a project for me for $50 that took me hours and hours and hours. For the last 3 years, we've been paying her $250 a month and had her on payroll, and we just dropped stuff on her constantly. If you look at the texting strings even yesterday, Roz gave her a workout, right? But this is the kind of people that are available all around the world, and you guys are not doing anything to build your business because you don't think we're in a totally different day and age of building businesses, kids. It's easy now if you're open to trying new stuff, right? And it's even affordable, shockingly. Okay, let's continue, shall we? Everybody got their books? You're all good? Okay, enjoy them. Hope they're beneficial to you. All right, let's talk about, there's a flyer on your desk we're going to get to in a minute, or on your table, but let's try this first. What do we got? I don't even know what my own notes mean. Okay. Books. Oh, we already gave them out. We can check that one off the list. Let's go to the next one. So I was 31 years old, 30 years old, something like this. Okay. I was working at a little company called Crescent Jewelers at the time. Right, Vicki? There's somebody here in this room from my jewelry days. Holy moly. The world's small, right? And guess what industry she's in now? Freaky. Right. Yeah. So I'm in the office of the then CEO, a guy named Brad Stinn. This is up in Oakland, California. And he's promoting me to be the chief operating officer of Crescent Jewelers, the world's third largest jewelry chain. And then I've known him for years, and I respect him a great deal. And I'm going to teach you something he told me when I was in my 20s. He taught me when I was in my 20s. This is what I'm about to show you here. Basically, the point of this segment. And I said, thank you, I'm honored, etc. I've got a question for you, and fortunately I knew him enough that he's kind of an intimidating guy, really smart guy, really a little intimidating. And I said, so thank you so much. What does a COO do? I had no idea. So he said, this is the job description. He said, you're accountable for everything. You're responsible for nothing. So I don't know what my expression was at the time, but it was kind of probably a blank stare, like, yeah, what on earth are you talking about, dude? Was probably the first thing that came to mind. And he said, what that means is the results are all on you. Your head's on the chopping block, son. How you do it, I don't care. I don't care if it takes you an hour a week, congratulations. If it takes you 120 hours a week, that's your problem. I love operating like that in business. It's interesting. But one of the ways that he taught me to lever was through a skill that I would like to share with you right now. And if somebody knows, Charlie, if you can help me with the spreadsheet just to get it up. So what he taught me in my 20s was what I'd like to call the single most important daily habit of a business owner. I know it's January. This is good for January, but it's good for July too. Okay? The single most important daily habit of a business owner. And we're going back to what worked for my brother-in-law, what works for me. It's measuring your critical daily activities and results. It is the number one most essential element of being a business owner. And the problem is, most people I know are sales professionals. They like people, they like business, they don't know how to run a business. By the way, maybe a lot of you are already in the six figures, right? You worked hard because you had self-confidence, you had a work ethic, you have some self-esteem, maybe you've got some good people skills, and now here you are doing your, solid high five figures, low six-figure number, thinking you got it all good, and then guess what happens? The frickin' plateau kicks in. Yep. So what happens is most people that reach out to coaches, the story is mysteriously similar. They already have an okay level of production, so they think they can handle a coach now, but they're frustrated because for the last 5 years, their results have been within the same range of production, and they don't have a freaking clue how to break through. You know why? Because all you know is how to get from point A to point B. And point A to point B is, I like to call it Grant Cardone's 10X. Get off your patootie and do something. And that gets you to point B. Some of you in this room need to get off point A. Read Who Moved My Cheese and go find the new cheese for Pete's sakes, right? But what you need to do to get from point A to point B is work ethic, sales skills, people skills, whatever. And now you're at point B. And now you don't know what to do. Except your old dinosaur-like petrified wood paradigms, which is, I'm going to work my way into point C. And so what you do is you go back and say, okay, it's January 2019, I've had it. I'm no longer doing 12 to 15 transactions. I'm hitting frickin' 24 to 30 this year if it kills me. And a week or two later, it's killing you. Because what's happening is you're working your patootie off, and the results are not changing. In fact, you already feel the toll on your family life, you already feel the toll on your health, and you can't stand it anymore. You know, in the old days, you had no trouble 10xing it 82 hours a week, and now you're like, I ain't frickin' doing that anymore. Thankfully. You know why? Because getting from point A to point B, you need to do a little of that, but getting from point B to point C requires a whole new set of skills you don't have in your tool belt, because nobody's teaching it to you. It's the skills of being a business owner and thinking like one, which is so much, there's so much involved in that we can't even cover it today. The next segment, April 12th, mark your calendars, is a heavy-duty business stuff. Heavy-duty business stuff. More intermediate and advanced, all business skills. Fair enough? But I want to give you the basic first step, the most important daily habit of a business owner, if you will, right? And the only way you're going to get these types of skills is by hanging out with people that think like business owners, by hanging out with people that are doing a lot more than you're doing. And look, just imagine, kids, that I told you, congratulations, every Friday we're now going to meet in this room the whole year. You can come for free, okay? We're meeting every week this year on Fridays. And by the way, I'm going to bring some buddies of mine here. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, right? Bill Gates, I'll bring him. Warren Buffett, let's bring him too. How about Jeff Bezos of Amazon, the world's wealthiest man in history, or maybe half as wealthy now if you know that, right? Okay. Okay. And we come here every week on Friday and hang out with you all day long. My question for you is, what does your business look like at the end of 2019? And I know your answer, and you answer it like this. You answer it like this, but you don't apply it, you don't think. The moment you answered it, it just went out of your head and you'll never remember it. Or understand the lesson inherently involved in what you just said. You gotta surround yourselves with business thinkers. They'll raise your game and know it doesn't. By the way, if you want to hang out with those 5, you can hang out with those 5 immediately. You can change, you can audit your group and you can whack all of them right now and change them in a week. Change your life and business in a week. How? Listen to those 5 guys constantly. What's going to happen over time is your decision making will change. Your daily decision making will change. We have to protect the mind. Anyway, let's go on to this daily habit. This habit is the measuring habit. Again, I need help with this, I'm sorry. Sorry, Charlie. Okay, so we've got to measure. So I want to show you, just want to get it open here and then I can probably take it from here. What do you measure? What are the right activities? What are the wrong? You know, there really are no right things to measure. Whatever you measure gets better. Just choose the stuff you want. But you have to measure it with frequency. What I'm showing you right now is an old spreadsheet. This is actually the 2016 spreadsheet from my brother-in-law and his buddies. Hope he doesn't mind that I'm sharing it with him. Now my brother-in-law, if you remember, did 6 deals in 2013 for 2 million gross. He made about whatever that math comes to, 50 grand. I don't know what he made, right? And then it went up to 3.7, 3.9 million. And then you can see, I don't know if you can see it over here, in 2015 he did 6.9 million. Whoops. In 2017 he got over 9 million here. You can see he was already at 9 million at the time of the spreadsheet or whatever, right? You can see it. So what did he do? He measured. By the way, it wasn't just him that measured. It was all these other people that measured. I won't scroll up and down, but you'll see all 10 or 12 people in there. Measuring daily. What did they measure? Well, what's interesting is this is what they measured, and in those days we measured things I wouldn't recommend to you right now. Most of it, yes. So I'm going to go, I just wanted you to visually see this spreadsheet if you don't mind. Let me show you another one here real quick. This spreadsheet has weekly columns on the left side that auto-populate, because if you scroll all the way to the right, if I can figure out how to do this. Well, I'm not going to try to figure out how to do it. We're not on an Android, we're not on a, I'm not an Apple guy. My daughter still thinks I'm a nerd, or I'm too. Okay, so anyway, this is that spreadsheet. Let's go to another one here. Check this out here. Sorry, I'm probably violating something here, but listen to this. Those were their numbers. Remember, I tell the story. The group went from 17 million to 34 million to 65 million, and it was actually 78 million, because these numbers do not include my brother-in-law. He was on that team. There you are. There's your, oh, by the way, my favorite one. Where are the NAREP guys? Okay, raise your hand. You know Rodrigo Franco well. Rodrigo Franco did 3 million in 2013 and almost hit 30 million last year. Guess what he did? Measured. And you don't do it. You know why you don't do it? Because you don't think it's important. You know why you don't think it's important? Because it's free. Leverage in business to a businessman or a businesswoman means small investment, great big return. There is perhaps no better lever in business than measuring metrics and accountability. Interesting? There's perhaps no greater lever. Measuring's everything. So all these, how do you compile all these numbers? And the answer, it came from daily measuring. Notice we had other groups down here. I don't even mention this group. They went from 35 million, you see this? Some of you may even know some of these people, right? 35 million to 45 million to, at the time of this spreadsheet, they were projected at 59 million. What's wrong with that? Okay, it was better than the increase in the industry. Let's go to another spreadsheet. So what I want to show you is the metrics I use now if a company allows me to sort of determine what they are. Are you ready? My favorite categories. What should you measure on a daily basis? This applies to all industries. Got it? Because we have my board of directors are all sitting here in the front row. These are folks that do advanced business stuff in a group with me, and they get more benefit from each other probably than they get from me. It's very cool stuff. This group knows what I'm talking about when it comes to, you know, look, this group has a lot of non-real estate folks in it. So what's going to happen? Pay attention. Ready? Number one, this is the sales funnel. We got 7 items that we're measuring. It's more than I typically like to measure, but this is what I believe strongly after 5 years of running around in your circles. The items we should measure are, number one, getting leads. Getting leads. We'll teach you that in about 30 minutes, what that means. Some of you already know where this is going, and you're like, oh, not again, right? Getting leads. What does a lead mean? Ready? A lead is you collecting somebody's name, phone, and email, period. The end. That's a lead. How do you get them? Are you ready? I'm going to teach you detailed, sophisticated industry scripts right now. Get them. That's how. Got it? When I go do it, as you'll see, it's like, hi, here's my business card. Do you have a business card? Good, I got it. Did I ask them permission to put them in my database? Lion Desk people, Ryan, wherever you are, don't listen to this one. Do I ask them permission to put it in the database? No, where do they go? Databases. We'll get to that one. Interesting? Okay. Why? If they want to opt out, if they tell you stop. You know how many stop messages we get daily? We get more stop messages in a week than this whole room combined. You know why? Tell me why. Because we send more messages out. We are doing 20,000 texts with Ryan and his people right now. Where is Ryan? Oh, there you are. Sorry, I pointed to the wrong place. We do 20,000 texts a month with them and just ask for an increase. How many you do? I'm not saying this to boast. I'm just saying, how do we build a business if nobody knows you're in business? You're too concerned with what people think about you, so you're always asking, how will I look? Your job is not to close everybody that moves. Your job is to present to everybody that moves and let them select or deselect you. Your problem is not your skills. Your problem is the number of face-to-face appointments you go on. For some of you, it's Zoom or phone or Skype or whatever, right? That's the problem. This is the spreadsheet. Number one, you got to collect leads. It builds a database. Okay? Write this down very quickly. I'm going to go fast. We have 5 databases. One is called Lion Desk. It's traditional. We have just under 7,000 names in there. Write down 7,000. Because I want you to remember the only person I knew in this room, well, actually I knew Vicky from real estate, from jewelry days, and maybe 1 or 2 others of you from before. But basically, besides my brother-in-law and family members, I knew 0. And now the database is 7,000 in 5 years. How'd we do that? If you take out weekends and holidays, that means we got 6 new leads a day and still took off weekends and holidays for 5 years. I don't know about you, but I think you can do it. And no, we didn't have 7,000 names in a month because I'm a business genius. Right? Get your 3 every day, get your 5 every day, and your life will change in 4 to 5 years, not just your business. Because then when you want new leads, you do what Roz does. Roz is like, I need more leads. My pipeline doesn't feel juicy. And she'll text one of the several people on our team, send out messages now. And we send out messages and people reply. I had somebody this morning, I can't remember who it was, somebody came up to me about a database message we sent out. They're like, hey, I want to talk to you about database. You didn't even get back to us. And I'm the one that teaches a 5-minute response time. We're not even doing it. We're so overwhelmed. Right? Good. But your problem is you'd be so overwhelmed and you turn it off. You know why you turn it off? Because you want to look good. You're not interested in building a business. Write this down. Flood the funnel and embrace the chaos. You can't do one without the other unless you want to do like every sales professional does in America. Do business, go back in their cave, do no business. Do business, go back in their cave and do no business. Every time the funnel gets flooded, you get stressy. Things don't look so perfect. You take your foot off the freaking gas pedal and you're back to paycheck living. It will never change. I curse you now that you will never change until you break through with your mindset and what you're filling yourself with. Number 2, measuring your daily activities. And number 3, embracing the concept that you have to embrace the chaos, not run from the chaos. And most of you have identities that are not strong enough to handle the chaos, which is why we've got to feed our minds all the time. Because chaos is not bad. Chaos is a gift. It's proof that you've graduated from level 1 to level 2 of this weird little computer game called business, right? So number 1 is you got to get leads. Why do you need to get leads? So you can market to them constantly, right? So I have a gal that I privately coach, and she says to me about a month or two ago, hey, Dave, do you know I'm the class mom for my daughter's class? And I said, I know. And she said, do you know I have a list of like a ton of, like the parents' names and contact information? I said, I know. And she said, do you know I never market to them? And I said, I know. My challenge for you is everywhere you go all over the place, you get them. Hey, Sue, can I get, I don't care if it's the person checking you out at the grocery store every week. Sue, can I get your phone number and email? I'd love to stay in touch with you. I have some good stuff I'd love to share with you. The end. Lead. Count them every day and put them in the spreadsheet. We need the spreadsheet here. I'm sorry, Charlie. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay, I'm going to go to contacts even though it's coming up here in a sec. Here we go. Number 2, contacts. And it's not your grandpa's contacts, kids. It's not making phone calls all day long and nothing else. Phone calls are effective, but they're not as effective as they used to be because of caller ID and people's habits nowadays, right? They're still good, but that's not the only contact. So if you're counting contacts, I like people to count all 6 types of contacts, clump it together, even though the number doesn't mean anything. Just make it bigger. Number 1, and by the way, I have the 6 of them in order of response rate according to the marketing world, not the real estate world. I don't care about the real estate world. Number 1, pop buys, face-to-face appointments. Okay, and I'm talking about not for selling, I'm talking about just pop buys to visit, right? That's number 1. Face-to-face is always the best. That will never change, by the way, because you're in a relationship sales business, just like I am. There's nothing more powerful than getting together like we're all doing here together with each other today, right? Number 1 is pop buys. So if you go visit somebody yesterday and deliver a gift, or just visit somebody and have lattes and hang out with them, hopefully maybe wear your name tag and polo, your polo shirt and name tag while you're at it. You don't even have to talk about business in your billboard. So that counts as 1 if you got one of those. Next one, number 2, texting. It's the second most powerful channel. The purpose of texting is to get to appointments. That's why we do the Lion Desk stuff so much. I talk about them a lot because they're fine, they're solid. It's not like there's, like fireworks going off because of the brilliance of their technology, for Pete's sakes. They have their own stuff like we have our stuff to deal with. But it's solid, it works, it's inexpensive, for me, it's user-friendly. Okay? For you, it's not. We'll talk about that later. Okay? So number 2 is text. If you send out 150 texts, you count them as 150 contacts, as long as the text has the first name in there. It has to be personalized. Otherwise, it's not only ineffective, it's offensive. Number 3, Facebook Messenger. It's just like texting. Facebook is a database, just like Lion Desk is a database. It's free. So if you have people in Facebook and you're sending a message privately, most of you got your confirmation messages through Facebook Messenger from us for this event, right? That's a contact. You may think, well, that was just a confirmation message. No, that's a contact. Every time we touch you, it's a touch. It's an engagement that makes you think about us. Make sense? All these contacts are not asking for sales. Everybody understand, none of this is about asking for sales. It's about the key to marketing in 2019 and in this day and age. Content to build community. This is not the day and age of grandpa's marketing. The world has changed, right? So contacts are crucial. Number 3, Facebook Messenger. If you send out 4 Facebook Messenger messages that say anything on them, except buy with me now, it counts as a contact. As long as it has the first names in there so it's personalized. Number 4, phone calls. They're still effective. I don't count voicemails. I count only conversations. I have a dear friend who likes to do 3 phone conversations with people from his database every morning before he goes out and does his other activities. It's brilliant for generating referrals, even though his message, usually when he calls them up, is just wanted to check, I was just thinking about you, how are you? Okay, number 4, next one, notes, handwritten notes. You do 10, it counts as 10. Emails is dead last. It is the most commonly used among sales professionals in America, yet it's the least effective by a margin, which proves to me that salespeople don't know how to sell. But it's still somewhat useful, and before I bash it too much, so about 4 or 5 months ago, I felt convicted because we hadn't done any email marketing for our own coaching business. And I thought, even though I make fun of email all the time, you really, you can't just deny it or ignore it. So we sent out a test batch of 500 emails with our same message about our $29 program, right? 0 positive replies and a whole bunch of takeoff lists. So I did just like you guys do. I acted like a sales kid instead of a businessman, and I thought to myself, yeah, figures, right? About a month ago, 3 weeks ago, Roz gets me on the phone and goes, you need to sit down for this one. Whenever she says that, I know it's going to be something interesting, right? So I go, what happened? She said, we got some clients from email. I'm like, email? What email? Your emails, Dave. I don't do any emails. You remember you once did a batch of 500? Yeah. Well, we have 2 new people in our $29 program. They're Keller Williams agents in Sacramento. Sacramento? I don't know anybody in Sacramento that does anything, right? She's like, I know. But then we looked them up on Facebook, and sure enough, they had friends in a couple of their offices down here, like Cerritos and Long Beach, that I know. Who knows? Who knows how you got in this room today, right? It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. Okay, that's your contacts. I don't care what your number is. I care that you track it every day, because guess what's going to happen during the course of the year if you track it and share it daily? It grows. Next one, number 3. This is critical. Number of messages for appointments. Let's skip ahead for a minute. We'll come back to this one. If you asked me, there are several factors that you're going to get from today that I think are so simple yet so critical to making sure your 2019 is better and bigger than 2018, regardless of what anybody else says or does out there. Make sense? One of them is, if not the biggest one, maybe one, I don't know. We talked about, the power of our thinking in our inner circle and measuring and all this. But one of them is how many face-to-face appointments you attend. Brian Tracy likes to say, you want to double your sales? That's easy. Simply double the number of sales appointments you go on. Sounds simple. Kind of is, right? Here, where's it? Do we have that microphone? Does Kevin have that mic here? Is it floating around, that other microphone? We do have it? Carl, I'm going to put my brother-in-law on the spot for a sec. I want you to talk about appointments, anything that comes to mind. We'll hold off on this until we get the mic back. But I want him to share about the topic of appointments. Fair enough? Now, by the way, in order to have appointments, what must you first do? Are you ready? Ask for appointments. And I don't know about you, but I kind of have a problem with this one. You know what my problem is personally? I hate asking for appointments. I don't know about you, but that's just me. I don't like it. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Some of you are good at it, but I don't like it, right? So in any event, what do? I use texting, Facebook Messenger, Instagram direct messaging, and LinkedIn email to create appointments. And everybody in this room, almost everybody in this room, has seen our appointment setting message. Our message is 25 words. It's, could be like, hi, Sue, or hi, Amir. Might you be interested in getting information about our $29 a month daily coaching and accountability program? No contracts, no agreements. Sorry, I forgot to mention that last time, right? No contracts, no agreements. Best, David. You could do that. Let's use, there's a lot of professions in here, but they're probably more realtors than any others. So if you don't mind, here's an example of one you could use for real estate. Don't worry about the exact language. Test a few, you'll find one. It could be, hi Sue, as you know, as you may know, Zillow's home estimates are totally inaccurate. Would you be interested in getting a genuine, authentic, real, personalized, estimate of what your home's worth? The only purpose of those messages, by the way, is to take a lead and convert it to an appointment. We sent out a message, many of you saw that are in our programs here, about a database, and man, it was a flood of responses for that one. That's why we're going to talk about that in the next segment here, right? But the only purpose of that message, I want you to forget about my business and this is what we're doing together. For you, remember, the purpose of the message is to take the lead and convert it to an appointment. Without you leaving your computer, you could be in Buenos Aires and do it. Make sense? The beauty of this day and age. Okay? So 4 is appointments, but in order to do it, you have to ask for them. So each day, I believe there have to be a number of messages. You can have a target. You can start small and build it up later when you build a database, right? But I think there have to be messages that go out every day to create appointments. Here's the rule of thumb in the marketing world. You're going to think this is ridiculously low, but this is the marketing world statistic. If you send out 100 messages, what we're looking for is 2 yeses. That's it. 2 from 100, which is why you need to build a bigger database. If we have $7,000 database and we run through a cycle, we're going to get 140 yeses for appointments. Does that make sense? And then we're not going to see all 140 because some will slip through the cracks, we'll never meet, they'll never respond, whatever. And then we end up with so many appointments and so many transactions, and then we got to build a database more, which is why we also need to put people in Facebook and Instagram, and that's why we've got on Facebook personal page 5,000 and business page 7,000 and Instagram 4,000, because you can send the same messages there at the same time. Okay, very good. So let's talk, Juan Carlos, you have the microphone? Come on up for a second, please. Let's excite Juan Carlos. Give him a little round of applause for no reason. How's that? Okay.
Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Just share anything about appointments. Anything that comes to mind you think is important and valuable for folks. Or your experience.
Just to share what happened to us in this team, what David was sharing about our experience with the appointments. We come up with a number because we were failing a lot in appointments, but we take something out of it, which is we don't focus at all about the outcome of the appointment. We were to prepare a lot to close them, so we just focus on show up and try as many times to meet with people face to face, and that was our conversion. So we came up with a number, it was 8 appointments a week. It was non-negotiable for the group. Make it happen, any source. So the ways, the open houses in our industry, real estate, or the way that you prefer to pick your, the way that you get the appointments done, the appointments was the golden number. And then out of those, we opened 4 escrows a month. That was our number. And it become like the way to have our business predictable.
There's a 40 to 50% increase on average. I got people that are doing bigger than that. I got people that are going down. But on average, it's that high, way more than the industry, right? Measuring is all powerful if you have someone to do with it. Your problem is you still won't do it after this seminar. So let's try to throw you a tool on this one, see if you're interested, okay? So we're on vacation, and Roz and I are having conversations with each other that if you were on them, you would have cracked up. Because one of the conversations was, okay, and we had this conversation a few times, how do we really suck? What do we really suck at? Was one of the conversations we had a bunch of times over the holidays. Another one we had was, what are we not doing well enough for people, or what do people need that maybe they're not getting? So we came up with 2. One of them that I love from the beginning, another one that Roz arm twisted me on. Okay, I keep saying that, maybe it's not entirely, okay. One is advanced accountability. So this is, if you'll see, Melinda's going to kill me now. It's up on the screen. Let me change the screen. Advanced accountability is basically what we're doing now to measure. Okay? So some of you, if you have that other flyer, there's another flyer in there with some other stuff. Maybe I can grab one, Simon, if you don't mind. Thank you. Advanced accountability. This is for those of you who represent the majority of people I know, even in offices I coach. You love the idea, you still don't do the metrics. So here's what we do. You ready? Number 1, we call you every day to get your number from you. And we put it in the spreadsheet for you. Now we have people in this program that have already told us, because we have a concierge doing it, we already have someone tell us, let's just text is fine. That's fine, you can just text. But we're coming after you, we want the number every day. And we want it in the and we're putting it in the spreadsheet. Why? So you don't have to figure out the technology, kids. Because some of you break out in a rash whenever you open the computer, right? Number 2, we do a bi-weekly, every other Monday, there's one this Monday, by the way, 12th. We do a bi-weekly Zoom mastermind where we see each other, review your numbers together as a group. For those of you that are already nervous about the concept, it's super supportive, and it is a no condemnation zone. I don't care if you're doing this in business or this in business, everybody's objective is to do one thing only, get better. Got it? And everybody's in it for each other. The end. That's my rule. You can go work with, if you want somebody to beat you over the head, go get somebody else. All right? So we do that, we review the numbers, and then we actually have an online course. Let's see if I have it here for you. So there's actually teaching on those webinars, how to run your business basically. Let me pop it up for you so you see what it looks like. So there's a calendar of topics, here it is. So for example, this is Monday's actual topics coming up this Monday. We're doing some topics on accountability, sales technique, database marketing. It starts with a lot of sales, marketing and mindset. Over time, you'll see a lot more time management, leverage and delegation and stuff